Yes. I was actually hoping you were going to bring some Bulgarian wine.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Yeah.
Bulgarian wine. Yeah.
And,
That was at a Semtech conference. Yeah.
and we brought some wine yesterday evening, but we've been missing one there.
Look at this. We're right on time. Perfect. All right. All right. Just take it away.
Okay, just a second to make sure that we are on air meet as
Is
well.
air meet good? We're good. All right.
Good.
You got 25 minutes. You want questions?
Wow, that's wonderful. So, hello everyone. We are very, very happy to be back here live. We probably one of the conferences that we enjoyed most was the first issue of KGC 2019. And now we meet more or less the same bunch again live. That's just exciting. So we're best known for the database engine. And what we really care about there is, I would call it ubiquitous efficiency. So we made sure that we deliver dependable performance across wide set of workloads. Because it is very, very easy in the database world to optimize for one workload or another, for transactional or analytical or for metadata or for something else. And it's really hard to get all these together. And we've been developing this product more or less 15 years. So that we finally make sure that all the use cases that matter for the people here and all the features are there in a mature shape, including some features that historically were like recognized as something you get from the LPG engines, like being able to attach edges to, properties to edges and to do multi-hop relationship exploration and finding pattern graph and stuff like that. That's no longer an issue. So we level the ground. So you can do this easily in a standard compliant manner, also with RDF engines. And to make sure that we not only check the boxes, but also take care of delivering robust performance, GraphDB is the only engine who passes both the semantics, the most comprehensive semantics benchmark, the semantic publishing benchmark, and the social network benchmark of the Linked Data Benchmarking Council. And there are plenty of vendors who pretend about performance and stuff, but most of the vendors here on the floor had never audited a single benchmark result, and there is probably a good reason for this, including, I would mention our colleagues from NEW, who did a great job to develop the social network benchmark and never publish results for it. So why we care about it? Because to us, we see knowledge graphs as an advanced form. What really matters there is an advanced form of semantic metadata, which enables a range of applications and makes the knowledge graph something like a hub across different types of data and different types of applications, all the way from data management to content management, knowledge management, and now a range of new applications that are just coming up. So these different applications come with very different requirements. And if you want to have a knowledge graph in the middle, you should care about this wide range of use cases. So we also took care to mature it over like these 15 years to be very easy to expand and to integrate and to deploy across different platforms and to make it easy to integrate. Doesn't matter whether you want to put it in an architecture with an enterprise service bus like Kafka, or you want to consume the data through JDBC, or you use GraphQL Federation. All these options are extremely valid for enterprise architects who are not necessarily having a full stack of RDF and Sparkle, but need to integrate also other things. So, and that's why it's probably one of the most popular engines in the RDF space, with more than 10,000 active installations in each moment in time. So I'll skip this one because that's what you already know first, that we've been taking care of reasoning at a large scale, making sure that you can do I mean, support reasoning through both data updates and data loading and data querying in a manner that scales well to big sets of data. There are plenty of vendors who implement backward chaining or something like this, which is wonderful when you claim how complex reasoning you can do, and it's great that it doesn't take time upon updates and stuff like that. But then out of a sudden, when you get to query big data sets with such technique, it just fails. It can't scale it. So anyway, to be able to sustain all these type of applications and to support enterprise in doing them, a knowledge graph platform needs to support many other things beyond the database engine, beyond the storage and indexing. You should have the facilities to build knowledge graphs and to do all the operations, and then 10 different ways in which people may want to explore this data and to do searching and to do visualization, and even a wider range of ways in which people may want to do analytics. And that's too broad for a single vendor to cover in good manner. It's just, just too much, and it take edges to get there. So our approach is that we do this together with our partners. So we cover some of these functionality out on our own, and then we have what you see here in the blue boxes, stuff that we intentionally left for partners to make sure that you can get the best in terms of product for taxonomy management or ETL or whatever you care about, rather than a single vendor just checking the box. So as part of this ecosystem, we have actually several partners for the most important functions. So speaking of ETL data transformation and linking, we work with Essenza. I hope Chris is somewhere here. And with semantic technology veterans from data language, we have several partners who offer a different kind of vocabulary management, control vocabulary management, taxonomy management in a very mature shape, and also other partners who offer platforms for graph exploration and graph management. So we just made sure that we have proper integration with all these people. We have all the synchronization. We can support each other's products so that any enterprise who decides to go this way can enjoy this ecosystem. And that's not just the tool providers. As part of this ecosystem, we also have a lot of consultants and system integrators that can help you all the way from a boutique, very competent regional consultant, either in UK, US, or Korea, to help you get started your knowledge graph project, but also the biggest system integrators that can provide the right infrastructure and resources for big government project. So with all this set, you have the ecosystem, you have the technology there, but it's still making a proper enterprise knowledge graph that really has all the background knowledge to actually help you do more with your data is quite an exercise. So it takes a lot of years, and many of the early adopters of this technology invested 3-5 years to get to something that is really usable. And most of the enterprises don't have the time and don't have the budget to get there. So we've been all the time thinking how we can accelerate this. And the easiest way to do this is, what we call knowledge models. So for specific verticals, we have pre-packaged ontologies and data sets and text analysis facilities to help you get started with existing models and existing data, rather than having to invent everything from scratch. And Peio will tell you a story that dives deeper into how you can accelerate your enterprise knowledge graph project.
Thank you, Nasa. So, everybody, this is the big picture. And what is my day-to-day concerns is how to do this better, faster, cheaper, more effective. Because we have done it, we've seen it, it worked, we put it in production. And it works good for the ego, but now we need to scale. We now need to make it faster, better, and easier, so everybody can have a knowledge graph. So what we have done, we have developed a methodology. Everybody has a methodology, and it would cover basically what you have seen on this set of steps. You need to clarify your requirements, to gather, analyze the relevant data, clean your data, create your model, integrate, harmonize, do all this dirty work to get to the architecture and data management layer, to be able to augment and enrich your data with actually insightful stuff, either for reasoning or text analytics, make it better, make it more usable, and then put it in prod. Ensure that this is there, it's staying, the data quality is right, the resiliency is there, and so on and so on. Yes, we have a methodology. Other methodologies might differ, but they will cover basically the same. What I would like to focus today is the actual challenges and solutions, because where we are at is currently, yes, we are known for a database vendor, but it's the technologies doesn't make the difference anymore. Like how you get to be to put stuff in production, how are you helping me get the job done? And so on this slide, you see a very unscientific and speculative distribution of the knowledge graph development efforts. Because they would need to address typical challenges like, let's say, model your domain, acquire, integrate your data, make sense of all the content that you have in these document stores, build application and consumption interfaces. And what we are focused in the last, let's say, years is to create so-called accelerators. Stuff which would utilize the existing technology and will help you get there faster. More specifically, use whatever out there, like FIBO, Financial Industry Business Ontology, Dean, Pete, eternal gratitude for what you've done to the community. Eliza and Deborah should be online, so thank you very much for it. You have done a tremendous effort. Oh, Mike, apologies. So reuse to the much possible extent whatever is out there, so you don't spend all your time in conceptualizing about your domain. Then build on what is already existing as reference data and existing data set knowledge. Here, again, the glide data, the LCC data, the wiki data, we'll get into further detail. Well, gather as much knowledge from whatever is existing already there, from existing text analysis APIs, from a text analysis framework. Let's say Space is popular. Use it, please. We enable you to use it. Then automate and speed up the creation of analytical interfaces, consumption interfaces, visualization, whatever you need for your application. Make it as fast as possible, because like we see in all these boxes, like you need to be able to speed up all these efforts. And we offer everything for some of these boxes. Let's say we might recommend you to a consultant to help you specify your project. We will, let's say, introduce pre-existing models to be able to speed up the modeling work. The gray area of transformation integration, this is where the joy of building stuff dies. Well, we'll offer you, let's say, if cartridges of reusable data sets, so you plug in and you build upon it. The application interface, we are getting here use case specific. Well, we generate as much, we offer you third-party integration framework versus partners. We help you get prototype and get as close as production. Last but not least, to be able to put something in production, you have to automate, let's say, the data, make sure it's all resilient. An announcement with this regard, a new cluster is coming. So far, I believe we had one of the best clusters, if not the best cluster, offering, let's say, multi-data center resiliency. A new one is coming. So it should meet all of your requirements. And now I'm going to be covering part of the focus areas. The first one is, yeah, use FIBO as much as possible. This was the topic of yesterday's workshop. So here it's, if you would like to have this as a workshop, we've done this for you. This is an interface where we are helping you get the best out of the pre-existing knowledge of FIBO. If you're interested in this, we have a page on the website, or please reach out. We'll share our knowledge with you. Or we'll actually refer you to a consultant, which is not a best option, not a worst option. So the company data exercise. In the last 5 years, we have worked with all this data, which is a lot. And this is the dirty knowledge of acquiring a data set, getting to know it, transform it, mapping, really a lot of foundational efforts, which should help you utilize this pre-existing data as something which would power, let's say, as your knowledge graph. And entities and let's say securities are two of the key data elements, let's say in financial services industry. You cannot do mostly a use case without any of them. So you would need this type, if not as a foundational data to augment your data. So this type of specific knowledge comes really, really handy, and we have been really fortunate to have a lot of customers around this expertise that we've developed. Something else, this is new. Well, this would be an announcement. The ability to leverage text analytics API. So we talk about all the document stores, everything which is in your SharePoint locked in, emails, presentation, work documents, whatever you would like to say. This is your unstructured content that you need to somehow integrate and make useful. This is a new tool which would help you exactly to do this, to be able to express your use case by creating, let's say, a gold corpora standard, and then test all the existing APIs. Let's say in this example, we have like the user who has created the gold standard, and he applied two text analytics services. Let's say this is IBM Watson and this one from Ontotext, in order to do the extraction of the data types which are on the right-hand side. And you would see with all the underlinings, it's not the best presentation quality here, where all these services agree, let's say about Ukraine, but the fun part is to explore where they differ, because this is how you understand where the value lies. Is the value in exploring something which is already there, or you should develop on your own? We have a lot of use cases. We see a great deal of promise in this. If you are interested in knowledge graph-driven text analysis, give us a shout. This is something that we were very much looking for discuss. This slide is for everybody who is happy with and concerned with operations. Most of the logos and most of the names here are relevant to the people who are putting resilient, stable systems in production. We have done a lot of architecture, great deal of effort to make this stable, resilient, and predictive to run boringly for years. I'm not able to cover this in a detail because this is what I actually care about. This is the complete service layer. This is an actual document we share with the customer. This is the ability to provide a complete knowledge graph service starting from the bottom layer of hosting via the application through the data quality and the actual user help service interface. And this is all back with KPIs, with specific metrics, with SLA. So we guarantee to the end user that he'll get the value of what is developed for him reliably and predictably in time. So it's the ability to do a full stack support on a knowledge graph. Naso, would you like to?
Well, we're in a market which pretty much didn't exist until 3 years ago, because ourselves and Allegro Graph and others, we had these engines for quite a while. But guess when it appeared for the first time on Gartner's hype curve? 2018. Before that, it was not an emerging technology. It was not there. The previous time when it was sort of on this map of fancy technology, it was 2003 with Ontologies and semantic in a very early stage. And then there was nothing until 2018. So really this, let's call it hype or just a market getting real, started re-emerging, and the interest in graph database and knowledge graphs became more commercial as of 2019, 2018. And now it gets to some real size, like anywhere between $1 and $2 billion, depending on how you count it, with or without the services and all these things. And currently it's heavier on the LPG side, but over time, the projections for the next 5 years, and I find those quite conservative, is a good growth that will be a bit stronger on the RDF side. But in practice, my expectation is also that over time, these two technology stacks will more or less converge. So this market finally got real, and there is now growing, and what's more important, mature demand for this technology, because there were early adopters, which many of them got burned through the years, and We had projects which were more successful than others, and then we had projects which dragged 4 or 5 years, while they've been expected to finish in 1 or 2 years. So these lessons are learned. And on the bigger picture, we had the big guys like Google and Amazon and LinkedIn taking benefits of this technology. But I think Deborah was also there in Monterey, 2018 or 19 on ISWC. There was a panel about knowledge graphs, and we had all the big guys there with Microsoft, and then I asked Google, well, do you have any plans to make your knowledge graph somehow available so that others can build applications that take benefit of this? No. And 4 years later, the answer is still no. And it is a very practical thing. They want to improve their competitiveness and to improve their business using this knowledge graph. And that's something that they want to share with anybody. And you have plenty of enterprises that want to do the same, but Google and Microsoft are not selling what they have as a knowledge asset. So they have to build it. And it is this community of people and partners that actually helps all these enterprises build. So we basically gathered 20 years of experience of hundreds of different ways in which it doesn't work. So we can tell you early in the beginning what patterns could be avoided, yeah, that's pretty much it. It is a very refreshing moment for the industry because yeah, we basically see this technology going from a set of leaders and early adopters and enterprises which are wealthy enough and visionary enough to spend millions and over many years to get there, into enterprise which have to be more pragmatic, and that's the broad range of people, to get something with lower risk and faster. And that's all these accelerators that Peio was speaking about. At the end, I want to make an announcement. We are just closing a wonderful round of growth funding. We are looking to expand our BizDev team in US and North America. So we'll happily welcome everyone who wants to work with us, both people who want to join us on the sales side, as well as partners in US. Thank you.
Thank you. So we have time for questions. I have questions, but who wants to go first? Otherwise, I'll kick it off. So you had a really nice image of all the partners and the stuff that you could do. You're talking about partners, and this is the data architecture track. So from an architecture perspective, we were talking about Ontotext and all the other. They're the database. What are the top 1, 2, 3 different technologies that you want to start off with? Because you had that whole landscape, and there were like 20 different things. What are the top 3 things that you want to go start off with?
Well, they're on the left of this hairy diagram.
That one, yeah.
That's the stuff that you need to build the graph.
So you need all of them?
No. Just those that are related to building the knowledge graph. So how you find how you discover the data, and how you transform the data, and how you make your first semantic model to put it together so that you can start evolving it. So historically, we believe this was underrated of what it takes to get your first steps. And I know that you put a lot of efforts with Grapho and other tools to get there, but yeah, accelerating the start so that people can easily see the benefits of knowledge graphs with their own data is key. We saw many people that is actually essentially churn at this stage. They take one of the databases or one of the tools, and then they start trying to do something with their data, and it turns out to be more complex than what they expected, and they churn within a day from our technology, from everybody else's technology. So accelerating the start is, for us, the biggest thing.
I'll follow up.
I'm just curious. So my name is Nabil. I work for a tech startup, and we've tried to work on building a small knowledge graph to serve our insurance tech company. But I'm just curious from your standpoint, why do you think, you know, the industry kind of declined, and why is like now 2019 you're seeing like kind of emergent growth again, and thinking that the adoption this time will be better than the previous time that these technologies emerged? And maybe you just to add some clarity around that.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, what we're trying to do is more complex than what it looks like. So we're just trying to find the right picture. Getting the right knowledge model. So doing all the modeling work to meet the expectations of having something that is good as a taxonomy. It is also should be good as a data schema, should allow some inference, should allow some data validation and verification. So in the mainstream paradigms, you usually have 3 or 4 different languages and systems that take care of this. And the beauty of the knowledge graph paradigm is that it is expressive enough and powerful enough to enable you to do all of these in RDF, Shackle, and all these languages. But you shouldn't underestimate the effort that has to be put to make a model that meets all these requirements. So these are all multiple facets of a diamond, and it takes time to get it right. So that's the major thing, the modeling effort, and the data ingestion is not a problem. Just doing several pipelines to source data from here and there is more or less straightforward once you have your model. But linking the data that come from different systems with different identifiers is another stumbling block.
Very good. We got one here, over there.
Hi, you mentioned about you're the only RDF vendor actually finished multiple LDBC benchmarks. Can you share what kind of data scale you're talking about in terms of number of triples or whatever the graph size?
Yeah. Okay. On the scale is not. We don't have scale obsession as some of the other vendors. The scale with which we do the semantic publishing benchmark is in the range of billions of triples, and it's again anywhere between 1 and 5 billion triples edges in the graph for the social network benchmark. And if you look at the published results, there are published results for S and B for very large data sets, but out of a sudden this is not off-the-shelf database engine. And when you look at the report, it's a lot of hacking in SQL. That's what we've seen. So it's
Okay, hey, I'm Art from Microsoft supply chain team, and thank you for your nice presentation. My question is regarding your ontology, like in the second step in your roadmap. So do you write your own ontologies for these business case scenarios, or you use like market-wide adopted like ontologies, like open ontologies? Or if you do write, what are the ontologies same as existing that you have?
Ontology, like, we had an excellent conversation last night about this one. Reuse as much as possible. And we have partners who are exactly specialized, let's say, in the supply chain management. So this is the right moment to shine with our partner network, who have delivered successfully exactly this type of projects. And the easiest things to do without improvising, it would be to refer to a partner. And who I believe, if we find him, I would happily introduce you in a moment, because yesterday we spent like a 2 hours conversation exactly on this. And I would rather refer this, but this is where we shine with our partnerships. Because they have the domain expertise, they have done it, they prove it. If we have a partner, we'd rather go there.
All right. Well, with that, right on time, we're going to close this session. Thank you very much for both speakers.
Thank you.
And I'm going to pass it for a second.